he had a strong offensive line. But yes, you would think you would surround Russell Wilson, your franchise, the best player you've got on your football team, and one of the best talents in the National Football League, if not arguably one of the top 3 or 4 quarterbacks in the league. You would surround him you would front him with an absolute steel wall, but they haven't.
Yeah. Not that I'm complaining, but
of course not.
Cardinals, Seahawks, anyway. But here's this. I'm going to go ahead and go to bringing in Cowboys, the Dallas Cowboys, into the conversation, because there's a story that I was reading on ESPN, when this is through sources, that Jerry is interested in Russell Wilson. So how does Russell Wilson fit into the Dallas Cowboys? And then now this Dak Prescott. There isn't a contract there. They haven't come to any type of agreement. I don't know even if they're right now in terms of negotiations. Probably not. And what does this mean to for Dak Prescott, the Cowboys, and his future? If this ends up holding up and that Cowboys really are interested in Russell Wilson and maybe bringing him over.
Oh, it's blood in the water, isn't it now, Joanna? There were reports that the Washington football team were keeping a close eye on this Russell Wilson situation, along with a lot of other football teams that, again, would love to have Russell Wilson on their team. When they hear, oh, Russell and the Seahawks are at odds, I'm sure the other teams are just like, how can we get Russell down on our team? But of course, Jerry would love to have Russell down there. Wow, he's got talent down there as well, with his wide receivers and his running back with Ezekiel Elliott. Wow, Russell Wilson would fit in well down there. That'd be kind of interesting, wouldn't it? And then that Dak Prescott bet on himself. Dak bet on himself for a year with that franchise tag, and it backfired on him.
Yeah. Jerry Jones, when he wants something and he has your eye on you, pretty much when he goes out and gets it.
He gets it. Yes, he does.
What are the odds of actually this happening and seeing it through?
Oh my gosh, I don't think the Seahawks would let Russell Wilson go. That would be a PR disaster. That would just tear the football team apart. The man that brought you
already pretty much falling apart anyway. Now, especially now with this, and then now this, Russell Wilson being unhappy, then Seahawks pushing back, and then not being happy with that Russell Wilson. Now there's already bad blood there.
There is, but
Can it get any better? Can it get better?
It would fracture the franchise even more, wouldn't it? If they got rid of Russell, and it's like, oh my gosh, now we've got a huge void at the most important position on a football team, the quarterback position. So now that I guess the franchise tag is gone for Dak, if that's the situation, Dak is he's out there he's just out there. He's gone now. If that was where they signed Russell.
Per sources is that the Cowboys want to re-sign and is still interested in Dak Prescott. We know he wants to stay in Dallas, wants to stay with the Cowboys. Negotiations there, who knows how that's going, and they're going to come to any type of agreement. But Jerry Jones, expressed that he's interested in Russell Wilson. How that's going to flow and go forward, who knows? But that's a story.
And also, Mike Florio from Pro Football Talk said that the Cowboys are one of the teams that Russell would like to go to. If this thing really continues to fall apart and he wants out of Seattle, Dallas would be a spot where he would like to go to.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he was on 105.3 The Fan down in Dallas. He said, quote unquote, I suspect that Russell has an eye on Dallas. Ooh.
We know when sources talk, things typically tend to happen.
We've never had this in an offseason where so many quarterbacks, so many big, high-profile athletes in the National Football League, quarterbacks are moving. Isn't that crazy? Like Deshaun Watson wants out of Houston. Russell's not happy in Seattle. Sam Darnold could be on the move. We just had Carson Wentz move. We just had him move on Thursday. The swap between Jared Goff and Matthew Stafford. Quarterbacks are just moving. I've never seen an offseason like this when quarterbacks are they're gone. They're switching.
Yeah. I've never seen that. It's huge. We will see what happens from here.
It should be interesting, especially once March 17th hits, that league year, and once free agency starts, that's when the ball is really going to roll.
Woo! If things are happening now, can you imagine what's going to happen and go down starting March 17th.
Yes.
You can't imagine?
I can, and I'm kind of excited to see what's going to happen. It's going to be like a snowball. I can't even
bear the thought of what's going to happen. I don't think my brain is ready for that, to comprehend and receive all of that showdown yet.
But from a programming standpoint, it'll be good for us. It'll be a lot for us to talk about.
Yes. Are you ready to talk some baseball, my friend?
Yes.
My favorite sport.
Yep. Look at your smile. Baseball.
Hello, baseball.
Hi, baseball.
It truly is like the love of my life. It really, really is. If you know me, you know. The news of the week, Fernando Tatis Jr. with the San Diego Padres, 14 years, $340 million extension. He's only 22 years old, Dad. You know what that equals per year? $24 million a year.
I was going to say 24, 25 million a year.
So, and he has a full no trade clause, and he only has 143 games under his belt.
Isn't that amazing? And now he's got the third highest contract in MLB history.
Mm-hmm.
Behind Mookie Betts and Bryce Harper. Oh, no, Mike Trout. Trout and Mookie Betts. Mm-hmm. And he's worth every nickel, Joanna. You and I both know that. And obviously the San Diego Padres know that because that's why they locked him in for 14 years to be right alongside Manny Machado, right to Manny's left at that shortstop position. I love that kid. That's great.
Yeah.
And what it does is sends a direct shot at the bow of the Los Angeles Dodgers that, okay, we're coming for you. We're ready for you now. We got our guy in. We got the face of Major League Baseball. We got him locked in for 14 years.
Or should be the face of Major League Baseball.
Yes, he should be the face. But he's the face of Gatorade. That's great. He's got some commercials.
Gatorade and
they finally got one of their major baseball talents on commercials, Joanna. It's great.
I really hope that this season we have, hopefully, with all things considered and things do get better, and it's able to happen, an All-Star game. We didn't have that last season in 2020. Hopefully 2021, we turn over that, new leaf and can happen. And being able to see not only Fernando Tatis Jr., but seeing other players as well and showcasing their skills, their talent, and, for who they are, what they're able to do on the field. Come on, the home run derby.
Yes.
As well, that's something that I know I missed it, and I miss it. I'm really hoping that this year can be a little bit different, that we will wait to see, but it would be great. I cannot wait to see Fernando Tatis Jr. in an All-Star game because he more than deserves it.
Do you think there'll be any backlash like the NBA, like Adam Silver got over the All-Star game? Do you think Rob Manfred will get any kickback because of the All-Star game, which is also going to be in the same city, Atlanta?
If there is an All-Star game and things are not progressively better and either stagnant or yes, there's going to be pushback, definitely. And it's going to also vary on a lot of things, what they come to agree as, fans, no fans, of course, the traveling, if they're going to have that type of events and all of these other things that have to be considered in what's going to be in play for the All-Star game or that week or however it is that MLB decides to have that showcase. Mm-hmm. But either way, regardless, in any way that MLB decides to move forward in having that showcase or Midsummer Classic, as we like to call it, there will be backlash. Small or large, there will be.
I would think that Manfred and his people are going to really watch how the NBA does their All-Star game and maybe pattern theirs after the NBA and how they do theirs. And as you said, they're going to keep monitoring this COVID-19 situation because it's so fluid. There may be, hopefully we pray that there's not going to be a major outbreak in Major League Baseball or just an outbreak in our communities to the fact where we have to be in place again, and baseball takes a major hit because of the COVID virus, and these teams are affected again, like the Marlins and the Cardinals were last season. But if that happens, then I'm sure they're going to have to revisit the All-Star game.
Yeah. So I'm very curious. I'm very hopeful. I'm not saying yes and I'm not saying no. I'm just hopeful that things do get better and we're able to be in a better place to have that occur. But that's going to be an MLB decision, of course, and we'll have to wait and see.
So with Tatis Jr. signing this big deal, is this something that can really propel the Padres as they battle with the Dodgers in the NL West division, or are the Dodgers just too stacked? I mean, their pitching staff, they've got Cy Young winners all over the place.
Come on, they have Trevor Bauer.
Yeah, and they got Kershaw and they got David Price
and Mookie Betts,
and Urias. You know, they're so stacked and they just reload every year, Joanna. It's never a rebuild; it's a reload.
They are reloading, exactly. Not a rebuild, but a reloading, and they're just getting better. And this season, yet again, it's one of those. Justin Turner is staying with the Dodgers.
Yes.
So I think was it a 1 year? I believe.
I believe it was 2 years, $34 million.
2 years. Okay. But the Padres, they're contenders. We saw that in Fernando Tatis and Manny Machado, and they have played more than well.
Yes.
So those are going to be the two teams to be in the NL West.
Yes.
The Diamondbacks are in a different boat. Mike Hazen even said it, and when he spoke last week, is that they're pitching. That's what they're looking to improve and to get better. They know that it's not where it needs to be, and it needs improvement. And that's where where one of their major focuses needs to be and has to be, not only this season but the seasons ahead. Because look at the Dodgers. You really can't say that the Diamondbacks are in a rebuilding phase, but they're in a phase to where they need to make those adjustments. They're needing to make those moves and what's going to be good for the team and get them to be who they were a few seasons ago, going to the postseason, going against the Dodgers and facing them and actually beating them, eliminating them to get to that next team that they have to face in the postseason, getting to that next round in the postseason. They just have Joaquin Soria, who they just signed. Yes. Another great pitcher, and I think that's a great addition to the Diamondbacks, having a veteran around these not only younger pitchers but younger players, and with that experience, and he can be a role model. Not that Madison Bumgarner isn't, because he also has the experience, but one cannot do it alone. Exactly. So with having that addition, I think that's going to help, and sets a little bit more of a structure and not only that, but be more solid. And when you have that solidarity in your rotation, that also will transfer onto your position players as well.
Oh, absolutely. Bumgarner and Joaquin Soria, if he can ever go back, it'll be hard for him, being a 13-year veteran, to go back to the years in Kansas City when he was an all-star for 2 years in Kansas City. His first 3 or 4 years, he was magnificent with the Royals. Shut down pretty much everybody in that relief role. But if he can come back and be even half that good, Joaquin, and as you say, just have an impact on those young pitchers, those middle relief guys and the closers. I'm sure that Torrey's working on over spring training who he's going to have as his closer, but you would think it will be Soria. That's why they brought him in, or at least to compete for that closing job, right, alongside Crichton.
Yeah, and definitely you have to have someone in there, whether that's Joaquin or it isn't, or you maybe play around with that a little bit. Maybe you don't have that solid guy like a Mariano Rivera, closer, but someone that you can rely on to go ahead and get you those wins. He doesn't have to be a closer, as long as you have a guy that's going in. That's not, whether it be your closer, your middle guy, your setup guy. as long as you're getting your pitcher in